Hope everyone is doing okay on a Tuesday evening. It's National Night Out, October the 7th. A little after 8:45 on my watch. I've got 8:46 plus 20 seconds. We've got a few items to walk through as we approach the weekend. I'm getting a little feedback. I'm going to turn something down real quick. Okay, sorry about that. I dropped the microphone in the process of turning the feedback off. Amateur hour over here. The speakers over here were on, so I went over there and the microphone fell. Telling Chris. Play-by-play for Chris Thomason. We've got to do a new sports ranking too, by the way. People are hard to predict. So yeah, we've got a couple of items to talk about, work through as we head toward the weekend, which looks really nice here, by the way. The outlook is pretty warm, but things start to feel a little nicer by the time we get to the weekend. So we'll start going through this here. First question, what happened to the bird? It's not there tonight. The osprey was there. I noticed it. We'll talk about that in a second. First things first, some pretty heavy rain in the brush country this evening. That's all fading away, starting to lose its strength with the loss of daytime heating, but really heavy downpours between Freer and Hebbronville and Duval County. And another really impressive dropper of rain west of Hebbronville, northwestern Jim Hogg County this evening. And those dropped several inches of rain in parts of the brush country. You know, there aren't that many rain gauges out in the brush country, so we're not able to sample a wide variety of area. But Benavides, 0.3 of an inch. You look at the color chart on those radar estimates, though, and you see about half of central Duval County getting, I'd say, maybe 1 to 2 inches of rain. Those are radar estimates. And then northwestern Jim Hogg County, southwest of Hebbronville, you know, that you're looking at up near 3 inches of rain, according to the radar in those spots. So a pretty significant amount of rain in a relatively small area there. There were also some showers scattered around earlier in the day. I know a big group of them went right through B County. We had that plane go down north of Skidmore today. And, you know, I'm looking at the radar data just to see, and there were for sure showers working through at the time that plane went down. They weren't strong. You know, I'd say that the cloud tops were up to around 20,000 feet. But I think from what I could gather on the flight data from like the flight tracking apps, the plane was flying according to the flight. Bill, what site did you use on the flight tracker? Oh, he's not there. Okay. He was looking at it, and it looked like the plane may have been around 1,500 feet. But again, that's just off an app that we were trying to use to figure all that stuff out. So, you know, that bad situation, the pilot did die in that crash. I think it was the only person on board. But there were showers in that area, definitely at the time of the crash. Up to about 20,000 feet. So relatively shallow. I wouldn't classify that as strong or severe, but there were some showers, again, around that noontime hour in southern B County. So we head toward the overnight time frame now. It should stay fairly quiet overnight, and our in-house modeling is void of pretty much any semblance of rain chance tomorrow. You'll see a few little green freckles on the radar. simulated radar, but the model is saying, nope, not today, not today. I will say that the moisture levels of the atmosphere are really high for the first third of October's standards. And that alone, coupled with daytime heating, could lead to activity similar to the level we saw today. So I think our modeling is a little bit underdone here. I think we'll see more than one shower tomorrow just because of the moisture profile of the atmosphere, but it's not a washout, and we've got chances at about 30% area wide. So 30% coverage on the rain, partly cloudy and hot otherwise. So we already got this question about the bird from Joey. And this is the view that we had on it last night. I was much more zoomed in, but the bird was up on that ledge. That's our TV tower that the tower cam is mounted on. And the bird was just chilling there. I saw it about this time last night around 9 o'clock, and I said, I haven't seen that before. I was looking for the full moon, and that bird was just perched there. And it stayed there until after Monday Night Football finished. It was there the whole broadcast. And then we even went to the length of setting up a live stream for the Osprey Watch 2025. And it was there. Blake, our morning show director, said it was there till 7 in the morning. The Osprey was there till 7 o'clock in the morning. So almost 12 hours. It was just up there, just looking around. I never saw it sleeping, but I'm not a bird specialist. Just interesting to see all that. We got a lot of names for the bird. What were the Trey, Tres, Bill? Bill's was Tux, I think. He said Tux. Chris's was Grand Ole Osprey. That was Chris's. Bill, I was going to ask you on that flight data you were looking at. Was it about 1,500 feet according to the app?
I want to say it was about between 13 and 1,500 feet.
Okay, he's saying, 13 and 1,500 feet on. That again, that's just, what app was it? Flight Aware was the app name. So he went to the web to find that. So, that's what was. We were talking about the plane crash and the rain showers that were in the area at the time of the crash. So according to that plane would have been flying right through some shower activity. It was a small plane that went down in southern B County. It's 82 out right now. The dew point, that's the real bummer, in my opinion, about the weather characteristics on this chart. That dew point at 73 is summer-like. That is a summer-like dew point value, and it's just, it doesn't feel great. It feels sticky. It feels heavy. It's, some say air you can wear. Just, it's not pleasant feeling to be out in. It's 82 out, feels like 87. And whoops, that's the wrong thing. That's what's on programming right now. It's 87 on the heat index. So it just feels summer-like out right now. Up to the north, there is some cooler air in Texas. It's in the Panhandle. It's 64 in Amarillo, and that is associated with the cold front that we are going to be forecasting for into Friday. This front is not going to be strong. It's really going to be more of a difference in humidity with this front. And it has to do with the way it comes into the coastal bend, which I'm calling a backdoor cold front as it does get through here. We'll talk about that terminology and why we're saying that with this front in particular. There should be zero excitement about any cool down with this thing. But there will be a little tangible difference in how it feels. The humidity will come down a little bit. And this is a significant cold front for the Northeast. You know, they've been looking at record highs up in parts of New England, 80s, mid 80s, which is rare. You know, record highs, it's rare. This part of October up there, and some parts of New England may be talking about a freeze behind this front. So that's where the cold air is going to be. For us, again, it's more of a humidity changer rather than a temperature dropper for us. So Wednesday, tomorrow, I think it's widely scattered rain again, about 30%. It'll be warm and humid here. Ooh, the bird should have been called Oreo. I'm going to have to veto that one. That was one of my cat's names growing up. So it's a good one. It was like a black and white bird. So I get the sentiment on that, the Oreo name. But that's just my personal veto on that. Because I had a cat, and the cat's not with us anymore. So rest in peace, Oreo. This front, I swear this cat too, I'm going to go on a digression. This is back when I was, in high school. The cat I swear, would meow my name. This cat would, if I had my door closed, it would paw under the door. It would stick his paw under and just try to grab the underside of the door, and he would be like, ow, wow, ow, wow. I swear. You can ask my sister. Anyway, Oreo on the Osprey. I like Tux. That's my vote. Tux. Chris is saying Tux. So this is where the backdoor front terminology is going to start to become more important. So you look on the Futurecast model here, this is our in-house modeling. You see the high pressure feature up near St. Louis. That high is going to work more so to the east toward the mid-south, like Tennessee area. And because it moves there and not over, say, the panhandle, it's going to shift where the cold air moves in relation to the front. So the front sags south more so into the Gulf and the southeast than it does into South Texas. A lot of times these fronts will be coming in. We will be getting the front, right? And up near Memphis, they won't be in it yet because of the way the front is oriented. So this one coming in from the northeast or east is why I'm using the term backdoor cold front with this one in particular, because it's not coming in straight from the north or northwest. Those are the typical directions they come from. So they're moving south or southeast. This one is moving more southwest as it comes through the coastal bend in from the north and east. They tend to be weaker for us when they're like this, but it will send in some drier air, and I think noticeably so. I think you're going to be able to feel the difference between how today felt and how Friday is going to feel. Even though the highs are both going to be in the low 90s, it's going to be this drop in humidity that really makes a difference. Just a marginal shift in the temperatures, and the drier air it'll be nice. This upcoming weekend, I think, is going to feel like the one we had, I don't know if it was maybe 2 weekends ago, where the humidity just wasn't as egregious. It wasn't as in your face. It was more tolerable. Overnight lows were in the 60s because of it. And I think that's the gist of what we're going to see with this one. So we'll replace all this moisture that we've got right now. You see the green hues, that is above average moisture throughout the atmosphere. That's why I think we got widely scattered stuff tomorrow and Thursday. And we replace it with drier air, which is why the rain chances go down and why the muggy meter also sags a bit into the weekend. So mid 60s on the dew points there. And it'll feel nicer. We come back up a little bit into early next week, but Friday, Saturday, Sunday are looking like the lowest of the temperatures. This is the beach forecast. I meant to put the the numbers for Corpus Christi. They will be on the 7-day, but the beach, mid-80s in the day, mid-70s for the most part overnight. Tropics now. Jerry has developed. It's not going to be a threat for the Gulf or really the continental U.S. Bermuda may be within the cone, to be determined. Some of the islands in the northeastern Caribbean may be in the cone, but this by and large looks very similar to what the majority of the storms have done this season, and that is to curve north prior to reaching the continental United States. So that Jerry formed today, it's forecast to become a hurricane as it curves north and then away from the U.S. We've also got this other area of interest in the southwestern Gulf, Bay of Campeche. We've been talking about this dating back to last week, talking how the Western Caribbean, southwestern Gulf can sometimes yield later season tropical systems. This one does not have a good chance to develop, will not have time. It's just going to meander across the southwestern Gulf tomorrow, and that's going to be about it. No threat of it coming our way. Even if it did develop, this high pressure is just, it's going to keep everything south. So that high keeps us, buffered from tropical things, but it also keeps us buffered from any semblance of cooler weather. Did want to talk about this because climatology, it's important. It's looking back in the past at what's happened. And this is every hurricane that has made landfall in Texas in October, dating back to 1850. There have only been 3. Most recent was 1989. That was Jerry. That moved into the Galveston area. Cat 1 on the 15th of October. Then you've got, before they were naming storms, they numbered them. So storm number 10, 1949, that was in early October, and it was a Cat 2, closer to, I guess, Lake Jackson area. And then storm number 6, this was back in 1912. This is the latest hurricane landfall since 1850. It was on the 16th of October. So 9 days from right now. And that one hit as a Cat 2 right up the Baffin Bay and into Nueces County, central Nueces County. That one, it was significant. It was a significant storm, and that one was really the storm before the 1919 hurricane that really decimated Corpus Christi. And that one also hit close to Baffin Bay, but it moved in perpendicular to the coast. This one more of a parallel hit. So, some differences there. It was also a little weaker. The other one was a major hurricane. But that's the October climatology. The odds go way down into October. Still don't want to just pack it in and say it's over, but in my mind, I'm not as amped as I am in June. Or July. The early season, we tend to be a lot more front-loaded with respect to the way a season goes than on the back end of it. So, if something happens, we'll watch it for sure, but it doesn't mean that I can just go and ignore the little area of interest that is right there, right in the Bay of Campeche. Not going to ignore it. So that's how my brain works this time of year. These are the numbers for Corpus Christi. And 30% or so Wednesday, Thursday. Friday night football, it's going to be a nice evening. The humidity is going to be coming off at that point. So it'll feel nicer out. The lower humidity levels last through the weekend. Upper 60s in the morning, near 90 in the afternoon, which is still above average. And then beyond this 7-day, which is through the 14th of October, it's possible we go through the 20th without a major cool down. So it's delayed gratification this year on the cooler weather. Last year we didn't get into the 50s until it was in November. So we're south in latitude. We got to wait longer than the majority of the country for the cooler temps. So see if I can answer any questions if there are any. It's 9:06 on my watch right now.
What's the weather gonna be like Friday?
We're good Friday. We got to do a mid-season blitz ranking. Oh, we got some fantasy football questions. Jalen Waddle or George Pickens? I'm looking at Chris.
Pickens against the Panthers.
He's
No CD this week.
Oh, Pickens against the Panthers, and he had to add in no CD this week because I've got CD Lamb. So, number 1 pick for the Bolts.
Holt's Dolts this year.
He's calling him Holt's Dolts. I call him Holt's Bums. I'm like 1-4 this year. Anyway, I think we should do a fantasy football show. But we'll get some blitz rankings and some thinking behind the mid-season review with Chris one of these next few weeks. It's always fun to talk football with Chris. Going to leave it there. Been on for roughly 20-25 minutes. KIIITV.com/forecast, a great resource. Everything that we touched on here, plus more, is there. We've also got our hurricane section of the website, KIIITV.com/hurricane. That is any and everything hurricane related, and the focus is on us, right? It's on us. It is not on anyone else but us. So I frame it in that regard. It's all based on how we're thinking about storms as it relates to the coastal bend. So thank you for joining us, whether it's YouTube, our 3 News Plus channel, or the Facebook Live here. We really appreciate it, and we'll see you coming up here tonight at 10 o'clock if that's how you choose to watch us. We'll see you then.